What's up? I'm Ross. I've been researching college and the student loans that come from college, and I'm just dismayed. I'm shocked. I'm not against college degrees. I've got 3 of them myself. I've got 2 bachelor's and a master's degree, so I'm not against that. But some of these people are getting degrees in ridiculous disciplines. They're paying too much money. They're borrowing too much money, and it's hindering them for the rest of their lives. They would have been better off not going to school. It's outrageous out there. I'm going to react to a story out of CNN. The story is called Struggling Millennial Homeowners. I didn't need my degree. Typically, if you're talking to someone and they say they didn't need their degree, it's probably because they got a degree that wasn't very high paid or in demand. I work around a lot of engineers, never heard a mechanical engineer be like, oh, I didn't use my degree. I just never heard it. But let's get into the story.
Rach, we have $435 to last us till the end of the month. Okay?
What?
Actually, till February 4th.
That's even worse.
I know.
When we report on how great the economy is doing, what do you...
So these people have $434 till the end of the month. I don't know what the date is, but it does sound kind of dicey. I hope that's after all their bills were paid.
Do you feel that?
I don't feel it. I don't doubt that it's gotten better, but nothing necessarily feels like it really got easier on us. I don't feel like I'm getting a break anywhere.
The American economy looks strong, a robust job market.
And I can get that. I understand where this guy's coming from. I don't feel like I'm getting any breaks either. I got some raises, and things are tight. Things are very tight. So I can definitely understand what he's saying. I don't feel like I'm getting any breaks either, but this is life, no?
Stocks near record highs, inflation cooling, but many people are not feeling the positive vibes.
I see $400 going.
I'm surprised that CNN's even reporting on this because, let's just be honest, they love Democrats. So they've been pushing that the economy's great, and people aren't feeling it, and this is why. So I'm surprised to see them even step into this little area of talking about how things are bad, especially with the student loans and how Big Joe said he was going to forgive him, and then he couldn't bring it through. He couldn't bring it home. But to CNN's credit, they're talking about it.
Many people are not feeling the positive vibes.
I see $400 going towards my student loans, and I see $545 going for HOA, and I see groceries.
$545 going to HOA. That's not even his rent or mortgage. $545 going to HOA. And then you got another $400 going to student loans. You're at $954 already, and you haven't even paid really any bills that mean anything. You're paying your student loan and the HOA. Neither one of those bring anything into your life, right? It's not like electricity. It's not like your car, right? Electricity brings your air conditioning. It brings your microwave. Your car, you use that to get back and forth to work. Your student loan and your HOA fees, and you're at $954. That's ridiculous. I can see why he feels beat down.
Averaging about $150 a week. Sure, maybe for my wife's retirement portfolio, it might be looking great, but we need to get there first, yeah. Right?
So his wife's retirement portfolio is off the chains because the stocks are off the chain, which I don't know why. The fundamentals don't back it up, but it's part of inflation. So that's the one thing. When your stocks and your 401k is going up and your salary is going up, nobody calls it inflation. Those are good things. We're like, yay, hurrah. But when its price is going up, guess what? Then it's upsetting to us. And by the way, the prices aren't going up, the value of your dollar is going down.
On Saturday, we heard how MetLife Stadium is preparing for the World Cup final.
Danny Navarro did not plan to be a TikTok creator.
If FIFA decided to sell tickets for the 2026...
That was not his goal when he graduated with a history degree on a scholarship from the University of Virginia and started working at a nonprofit.
Okay, number one, he graduated with a history degree from the University of Virginia. Now, I give him that. He graduated on a scholarship. So it seems to me he should be doing fairly decent. Well, he should be doing fairly decent if he went on a scholarship. So he's already said that he's paying on student loans, though. So clearly he has some student loans somewhere up in here. But he got a history degree. Come on, man. History is not that in demand. History degrees are not that in demand. And then he went to work for a nonprofit. You're not going to get a whole lot of money working for a nonprofit. It's kind of in the name right there. Get it? Non-profit. nonprofit, what do you expect? Not gonna make that much working for a nonprofit.
Was at the $60,000 mark of my salary, and the only way that I was
See, I don't know where he lives, but $60,000 out of school, that's not bad. That is not bad. I think all of these people expect they're gonna be making six figures fresh out of college. $60,000, 2-3 years out of school, working at a nonprofit, that is not bad at all. So I just think maybe his expectations were unrealistic. 60K is not bad.
going to crack 80, 90 potentially, was to get a grad school degree.
So Danny went.
No, see, okay, I'm gonna go back and we're gonna listen to what he said again, because I just disagree with him.
80, 90 potentially, was to get at the $60,000 mark of my salary, and the only way that I was going to crack 80, 90 potentially, was to get a grad school degree.
So Danny went back to school for a master's degree in public administration. This time, he had to take out student loans.
I had to take out $70,000 in loans, which is more than what I was $70,000 in loans, which is more than what I was making.
Okay, so I just disagree with him. And you know what? It's hard for me to disagree with him because I took the same path. I went and got a bachelor's degree, but I got a bachelor's degree in business, which I would not suggest today you get a bachelor's degree in business. It's too general. But when I got that all the way back, 2008, almost 15 years ago, it was okay. Not to mention, I was already working for a company and I was already well liked at that company. I was already well respected at a company. I don't mean to brag, but I was already a shoo-in for management. I just needed the degree to get the check in the box. So that's what I did. I went and got a business degree. And very quickly thereafter, I got promoted into management. I would not suggest getting a business management degree anymore. I wouldn't suggest getting a history degree. So he got his history degree. He was making decent money at $60,000, but he wanted to get to 70, 80, 90. So we went back and borrowed $70,000 to get a master's degree in public administration. What? Public administration? What? I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know what a public, I don't know. I think he borrowed way too much money. $70,000 was way too much. I paid 43 grand for my master's degree and I feel like that was way too much. And he paid almost double what I did. So that's way too much for a master's degree. Way, way, way too much. He could have went somewhere a lot cheaper for a master's degree. And I would even challenge the fact that he needed a master's degree to make more money.
And then right off the bat, having to pay that debt down. And so it's almost like we're basically thrown into the hole, and right away we have to start climbing out of it.
No, you weren't thrown into the hole. You put yourself in the hole by going back to school. It wasn't like some giant or fairy or somebody came and threw you guys in a hole. You borrowed $70K to go get a master's degree. That was a mistake. So he borrowed $35K a year.
Let's see here.
That was 8 years ago.
8 years ago. 8 years ago, he got a master's degree.
And the promise that his college degrees would lead to a steady paycheck has not paid off.
So you're first generation, and what was the dream for you? What was the dream if you went to college?
We would escape poverty. And, for immigrants that are coming to this country, that's always the thing that they tell you.
Danny now juggles 3 jobs: soccer coach, tutor, and TikTok video creator.
I don't have a full.
So this guy with a bachelor's in history and a master's in public administration, he's a soccer coach, a tutor, and a TikToker. I mean, is it any wonder he's hating life? Is it any wonder that he's hating life, right? He's got a mound of student loan debts he can never get out of unless he pays them off. He's got a $540 HOA fee, and the guy's trying to get money on TikTok. It's a tough life for him, for sure.
Full-time salary job since November of 2022, and it's not without trying. I've actually applied to about 100 jobs. If I'm not
100
mistaken.
jobs.
I would say about in the past year and change, and a couple of them have gotten to the final round, but just unfortunately not been selected.
You wanna look outside? Come here. Look outside. My life is very different than what I envisioned it would be. Crazy.
Rachel Gambino and Garrett Mazzio followed the roadmap that previous generations said would spell success. Go to college.
The Gambinos, that's a famous crime family, famous Italian mafia family. I'm sure she's not. Carlo Gambino. I don't think she's probably related. If she was, she wouldn't be having these struggles. I'm sure the Gambino family still got money from 3 generations ago.
College, get married, work hard, buy a house, start a family.
This is the American dream, but at what cost? So we have all of those things and we appreciate every single one of those things, but we think about how we could lose those things very quickly. If one of us loses our job.
But we could all lose these things very quickly. If I lose my job, I don't even have a dual income. At least there's 2 of them backing each other up. It's all on me. I'm alone. What do you mean? Like, any one of us could lose our job at any point in time. That's not specific to you, ma'am. That is not specific to you.
We're in a not good place.
Between their college debt and monthly mortgage payment, they feel they've slipped into a lower economic class than the one they grew up in.
Do you describe yourself as middle class?
I like to think we are.
I would say lower middle class.
Why?
I'm jumping off the train right here. I'm looking around at their house. I saw the outside of the house. I'm not calling them lower middle class. Now, I get it, things are tight. But y'all ain't never been near no poverty. That's how that works. They ain't never been near no poverty. You call themselves lower middle class, I would not go that far. Again, things are tight. I'm not gonna call them affluent, but lower middle class. I mean, let's just look at their surroundings. Look at what their baby's wearing. Look at, that doesn't scream lower middle class to me.
Because when I think of middle class, I think about people who are able to just get up and go and do things within their means and like not extravagant things, but be able to get up and go to dinner whenever they want, or maybe take that trip, that long weekend trip. We don't have that luxury.
Do I agree that middle class means you can just go up and go out to dinner whenever you want and take trips whenever you want? She did say that long weekend trip. She didn't say she was gallivanting through Paris or Europe or anything like that, but I don't know that her definition of middle class I agree with. I mean, middle class, you're middle class. You don't just have, I would say a person that can go out to eat and do things like weekend trips and not worry about the bill, not worry about, and it not affect their financial future, and that, I would call that person affluent, right? If I can just get up and go on a weekend trip and it doesn't affect my future, I'm still able to invest, I've still got my emergency fund, I'm still paid insurance and all the things, and nothing's going by the wayside. I would more call that person affluent than middle class. That's just me, though.
Rachel works at a nonprofit, Garrett as an...
Here we go again with a nonprofit. What are these? What's with these people working nonprofit? It's CNN. It's CNN. These are the type of people they talk to. The nonprofit types.
Insurance underwriter, but their paychecks barely keep pace with their $3,400 monthly mortgage payment. Rachel's 26-year-old, but their paychecks barely keep pace with their $3,400 monthly mortgage payment.
Whoa, $3,400 mortgage, that's a lot. Gosh, that's almost, that's at least 2x mine, 3x mine. I pay about $1,340, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, detached garage. They're at $3,400. That is a lot. I bet you they live in a high cost of living area. They should probably think about moving. A lot of people should think about moving to lower cost areas, but I'm gonna guess she's got family or they got family and they don't want to leave, and tough situation.
Rachel's 26-year-old sister, Kristen, moved in to help offset costs for all of them.
So all of this is affecting your family planning?
Once we started getting daycare costs, it was like, we cannot afford to have another child until he's in a public school system. I'd love for him to have like a partner in crime, but we can't afford to give him that for at least 4 years.
And is that sad?
Again, I'd argue, how much do you want it? Move from the area you're in. There are places that you can live that are cheaper. He's an insurance adjuster, and you can get something part-time. You guys move somewhere cheaper. Go to Ohio, Indiana, Oklahoma. There's a lot of places that you could go and live an easier life. $3,400 on a mortgage that's a nice chunk of change. And again, I can almost guarantee they're living in a high cost of living area. Move to a low cost of living area, and you compromise and get a smaller house, you could probably have another kid. How important is it to you, though? How important is it to you? That's the question.
I'm sad. Like our family is dictated by our financials, and yeah, I just never thought it would be that way.
Why?
So what would they do
Isn't
differently?
everybody's family dictated by their financials? I mean, back in the day, people had kids because the kids would help around the house. That's why people had bigger families back in the day, because they needed them for the farm and the work and the chores on the ranch or the farm or wherever. They needed kids. The kids were there for labor. So their families were also dictated by financial needs as well, right? So it worked the opposite back in the day. I'm just saying.
If they could do it all over again, avoid student debt, even if that means rethinking college.
Go to college, get out of poverty, the money will come. It's not as that simple, right? Would I have been in a better economic position not taking in the graduate student loan debt? Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
I think this idea
Not
of going
probably.
to college
Yes.
is
You absolutely would. You haven't even had a full-time job since you got that master's degree, if I understand correctly. He said probably. No, not probably. Absolutely. If you didn't have that $70,000 hanging over your head and you just stuck with the $60,000 a year job, you'd be in a much better position. Why? What does he mean probably? What?
Taking in the graduate student loan debt? Yeah, probably.
I think this idea of going to college is something that I don't know if Miles will do, and we have decided we're not going to push him there either. I think a lot of millennials were forced into saying, like, you need a 4-year degree in order to be successful.
Come on. None of us, we were forced. No, God, they forced us. Man, nobody forced you to go to school and take out them loans. Listen, all right, good. So don't force your kid into the degree. I get that. I'm with that. But you might want to raise your kids, and if they're going to get the right degree, then it works out, right? If they're going to get a mechanical engineering degree and they go to junior college their first 2 years and they go on the cheap and they work during the evening to earn as much as they can, and then they work on the weekends, and during the summer they intern, you can get out of college at a state school with a reasonable amount of student loans, right? You can get out, $10,000, $15,000 tops out if you're willing to live at home during college years, if you're willing to go to junior college, if you're willing to work those years, and then maybe the parents can kick in some, and you can do it. You just have to be wise about it. No, you're not gonna go off and go to your dream school and do cake stands and not work, and then on top of not working, so you're borrowing money to eat, and then on top of that, you're paying the school an absorbent amount to go to their classes where there's 300 people, and you're probably only talking to a teacher's assistant because your professor is too busy. You need to think long and hard before you borrow money for school. If you made it this far, consider giving me a like. If this isn't your first video with me, consider subscribing. My name is Ross. Peace.